Everybody, Fancy Planner Company sent me this box and in it is a whole bunch of stuff. I haven't even seen it yet, but I know I'm gonna love it and I know you really need to buy it. Oh my God, you guys, these new sticker books are amazing and you need to buy all of them because they are limited edition. And what are you going to do if you don't have mauve and dusty rose stickers? Dude, it's a cycle. Hey everybody, today I am continuing the conversation that I started in my Planner FOMO video. It's linked up above in case you haven't watched that yet, about why we buy things, why we impulse buy things, and how is it that sometimes we buy things before we even think about whether or not we want them. And today I'm kind of going through the 5-step cycle of things you might see out on the Instagrams or the planner internets, out on these planner streets, as the cool kids say. The things that we see that influence us to make purchases that may not actually be things we really, really want or will really, really need. And believe me when I tell you, I'm calling myself out here because I do some of these things too. Quick disclaimer, I am not condemning any of these things on their own. I am not judging anybody who does these things or enjoys these things or whatever the case may be. I am just asking you to take a critical look at the content and the media that you consume and how it may impact your purchasing and whether or not it contributes to your impulse buying or your FOMO. If you don't know what FOMO is, it is fear of missing out. That kind of feeling you get when you see people with stuff and you want it really bad and you may not actually need it, but you buy it anyway because you're worried if you don't buy it, you're missing out on something. I don't want this to be like a drams video. This is not me spilling the planner tea. I don't even have tea. I've got that Michael Bublé water because I'm on Weight Watchers again, and this is a sad experience. This is not soda. This wishes it was soda. This is like the great value of soda. Not spilling the planner tea, just asking you to do some thinking when you're actually out here consuming internet stuff, internet content. I don't know if there's a nicer way to say that that doesn't sound hokey as fuck. This is not the only way we get marketed to, but this is going to be like the life cycle. This is a certain kind of cycle that you're going to see, and anywhere on this kind of 5-stop train might you find yourself purchasing something and then wondering what the hell you spent your money on. So we'll get started with the first thing, and this is a direct call out to me, and that is the influencer marketing side of things. I am specifically referring to people like myself who have YouTube videos or Instagrams, and we get sent things from companies, planner companies, craft companies, whatever companies. They try to send me all sorts of random shit. We're also talking about people who are on like PR or design teams. So they get stuff from shops either at a discount or for free, or they pay their own money for it, but they have a code that helps them get a discount. Whatever the case may be, people who are affiliated with companies, getting products from those companies and then showing those products. I hate the word influencer. If you've watched me listen to my podcast, you know I hate that word, but ultimately in a lot of ways, that's what it is. Like, you get influenced by somebody to want to buy something. You trust their opinions or you trust their ideas about things. Maybe your tastes align with theirs, and so the stuff that they get, you can usually guarantee it's going to work for you. There are some beauty influencers who I follow whose skin type matches mine, and so often when they have skincare or skin products, I will be much more inclined to buy if they recommend it because I know that their needs tend to reflect mine. And this is the same thing that happens in the planner, the crafty, the paper crafting, the communities that we are in, the art supply communities, etc. Now, one of the best parts of following influencer type people is that you get to see the stuff before it comes out and you can start making decisions, and that helps build the hype. But that's why the companies send it. They want to build the hype. They want you to see what's coming so that you see these people that you enjoy really liking it, and then you're like, oh, the next person's showing it. Oh, you might find yourself watching 5 or 6 different videos of the same collection of stuff from 5 different people just so you can keep seeing it over and over again. And each time you see that, it's imprinting on your brain. You want this. No, you really want this. Dude, you've been watching all these videos. Obviously, you want this. Do you really though? That's the question to ask yourself. I sometimes find myself buying things when I'm watching friends of mine or influencers of mine who I perceive as like my internet best friends because I want to support them. If it's like a collaboration or something like that, I may buy it just because I want to support them. Lamika from Capital Chic Designs just released in Michael's, and I ordered a bunch of shit from that without even stopping to think which of it I actually was going to use because I wanted to support her. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I knew when I did that was the thing I was doing. So it's really imperative when you're watching videos or seeing posts put out by people who are being sent these things for free or who have a financial interest in you buying them. If you're watching these things, to remember that that's what you're seeing. It doesn't mean to throw everybody's opinions away. It doesn't mean you can't trust any of these people. But what it does mean is that you need to be critical that you are not watching somebody who has zero reason for you to want to buy or not buy. Generally speaking, if an influencer is sent something for free, or if they get free products from a company, at the very least, they have an interest in that company still sending them free stuff. So just remember that. Of everything on this like train of impulse buying, I feel like we as consumers are generally probably the most clued into this aspect of it, because over the past couple of years, influencer marketing has gotten so pervasive that it is almost a fucking meme at this point. But it's just a reminder that when you're watching people, take everything that they say with a grain of salt, myself included. And I like to pride myself on not taking very much free stuff. I turn down so much stuff. When I do get stuff, if you've watched any of my Erin Condren videos when they've sent me a PR box, you know I'm not afraid to talk about the things I dislike or the things I don't like from a company, but you should still take everything I say with a grain of salt and not just accept it at face value, because I do like getting free stuff, even though I'm willing to burn down my relationships if it means that I talk some real shit on something. First, you get the influencers showing the stuff, and then a new release comes out. Often these companies will build the hype. Happy Planner does it with their design team. Erin Condren does it with their group of influencers. Other companies do it as well. There was this Aura Estelle thing. What was it? It's the Cloud Planner or some shit like that. Scribble Prints Co. and Once More with Love were like massively pimping out. When something new is coming, they send it to their influencers to pimp it out to their audiences, and then they release it. And new release time is an easy time to get swept up in impulse buying. I am specifically looking at all of you Happy Planner people out there, because the Happy Planner release season stresses me the fuck out, and I'm not even a Happy Planner consumer. Holy shit, when they come out with just mountains and mountains of new lines, new stickers, 45 different new lines, and each one has 85 different items in it. And God, if you have to get them all, gotta catch them all. It's like the Pokemon. Happy Planner is the Pokemon of the planner community. And is it Pokemon or Pokemon? Are my kids going to judge me for how I'm pronouncing it? Probably. It's not just Happy Planner. It's all of the companies. One of the greatest realizations I think I've ever had when it comes to new releases was this past year. Normally I'm on an academic year, but this year I decided I wanted to swap layouts mid-year, and so I bought the new planner for a whole new year, even though I only used 6 months of my previous planner. This is not something I usually do, but I did it this year, and when I did it, I was like, God, this is exactly what these companies want out of you. They want you to buy things when they come out, not when you need them, and I'm doing it anyway. So that's something like can be really hard to avoid, is new release time, when the new thing, the new shiny comes out. This happens with phones, when the new iPhone or whatever comes out and you have that previous year's one and the changes aren't that different, but it's still new and you want it. So remember that when a new release comes out, before you just decide to buy everything, think, what do I already have that is as good as, if not better, in my stuff already? Do I need to replace this? Why do I want this? And again, this goes back to that planner FOMO video, but I would suggest that if there's ever a time to be on your guard when it comes to impulse buying, it is whenever new release time comes out for any company, especially in the planner community. Because think about it for a second. So much of what comes out during new planner release season has dates on it, is time sensitive, and the more of this shit you accumulate, the less likely you are to actually use it up by the time it expires. Unless you want to redate everything, and ain't nobody got time for that. Now, just when you thought, okay, I looked at my shit, I'm not going to need any of this new release stuff, it's cool, I've got everything I need, then you hear those words that will jack you up hardcore. Limited edition. Limited supply, only 500. Scarcity. Scarcity is one of the ways that companies directly market to us. I, again, am guilty of this, because when I put my fuckery flowers for sale on my Etsy shop, I had a scarcity. I was like, these are limited edition, but they are. I only had so many of them. Companies use scarcity to get you to buy before you maybe even stop to think about it. If you are worried about missing out on something, if you are, the whole FOMO thing, this is where the whole fear of missing out comes into major play. Let's go back to the Aura Estelle planners I was just talking about. Those are pricey fucking planners. They are many, many tens of dollars. They are pricey planners that were being talked about by a couple of people on the internet, influencers and shop owners who have a lot of followers and a lot of pull in the community, talking about how much they love them, how excited they were. They're absolutely stunning, made with the colors of the moment, beautiful, like I don't even use those kind of binders, and I was looking at them thinking, God, those are gorgeous. But then when you find out that there's only a limited stock of each color and you're like, but I really want that. I don't know if I need that. What if I do finally decide I need it and I go to buy it and it's already sold out? Would you be more willing to whip out the credit card and spend the tens and tens of dollars, the almost hundreds of dollars? I don't remember how much it was. It was like $90 or something. Anyway, will you be more willing to spend the money on it because they tell you that there's only so many available and they don't know when the next batch is going to be available? That's when scarcity hits you. I am not telling you to never buy anything if it's limited edition. In a lot of cases, when something is limited edition or limited supply, it may come back. So if you do really want it, maybe tell yourself, I'm not going to buy it right now, but the next time it comes around, if I still want it, maybe I'll buy it. But there are other things where they might not come back. I'm thinking specifically of things like anniversary boxes. Simply Gilded's another shop that I absolutely adore, but yet I don't buy a lot of her releases anymore because I don't like the fight for them. Unless I really want something, it's not worth it to me to go through that scarcity, stressful FOMO hustle that happens when something is limited edition or limited supply. I just don't do it. I just step the fuck away and I will get whatever I want later if it's available. And if it's not, then I probably didn't want it that much in the first place. If you're worried that you're not going to be able to get your hands on something because it's limited edition, really examine, would it be so bad if you just didn't get it? Think about that. Because scarcity can get the adrenaline going, it can get the heart pumping, but then once you've bought it and once you have it and all of those like that happy like dopamine or whatever goes down, then you're just left with this thing that you bought, and are you actually going to use it? Now, if the influencers get you at the beginning, then this next step is where not only the influencers, but everybody out on the internet becomes an influencer. And that is haul season. So after the scarcity, after the releases, after everything else, now you have people showing what they got in the Facebook groups. Whether they are showing the spread of the things that they bought during a sale or the new releases, or they went on one of those hunts for Happy Planner stickers and they scooped up all of the new lines at the stores and they're spreading them out. You get hit with this new wave of, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that, because it gets repeated. You see this in almost every planner group right around release time. People order their new planners and then suddenly there is post after post after post after post of people showing the stuff that they got on launch day. Post after post after post after post of people's anniversary boxes. All the same thing, but they're all coming from different people. Or during Happy Planner season, this person found X line at X Michael's in this town, and you had to go to Hobby Lobby in some other town, and you show the different things you got there, and oh, better run to this Michael's. It becomes this like unavoidable, just intense situation where everybody and their mother is showing all the shit that they got all the time. And you're just being inundated with it. I find hauls to be annoying. Now, I don't judge anybody for making hauls, but I personally don't like seeing them because to me, it is blatant consumerism. It is consumerism at its peak. Here is all the shit I bought. It's not in use. You're not showing how you're using it. You're not showing it in a beautiful, organized way. You're just showing your shit fanned out on your bed or whatever the case may be, on your table or on your floor because your floor has a better backdrop for Instagram. I find no value in those things, so I scroll right past them. My biggest tip for you, if you are influenced by people showing hauls and you find yourself adding a bunch of shit to your cart or deciding to make a trip to Michael's just to find this shit when you don't even know if you want it during haul season, is to unfollow the fuck out of some Facebook groups. When you start seeing launch day orders start arriving, unfollow. You don't have to leave, just unfollow the group, because then you won't see it for a while and you have to go in and find it. And if you do and then you get influenced by it, that's your own fucking fault. Hauls can just surround you during like a launch season. And so avoiding them is probably the best way to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to keep seeing people having bought stuff. And it's going to keep influencing you to think maybe I should go buy all that stuff too. Now, generally speaking, all four of those things we just talked about, those 4 stops on the train, I'm fairly good at avoiding. I'm fairly good at checking myself before I wreck myself and my wallet. This last one though, this is kind of like the pinnacle of this whole cycle, is the one that gets me hardcore. And that is craft room tours, organization videos, how I organize my stickers, how I organize my art supplies, how I store my planners. Organization porn is the best porn. Some people get off on like threesome stuff. Some people love some boogie nights, Dirk Diggler kind of situations. Give me an IKEA drawer and some pretty dividers and a bunch of watercolors spread out neatly, and I will have Amazon open before you can say Bob's your uncle. The fuck is Bob's your uncle? Now, ironically, planner space tours don't generally get me as bad, although I will get down on some like desk office supplies like pen holders and things like that. Mainly because most of the ones I see are Happy Planner related, and I cannot wrap my mind around somebody owning that many Happy Planners because aren't a lot of them dated? Like, I see these rows of planners and I'm like, how many of those were from like 2016? They're pretty and I love getting ideas about the organization, but for me, I really get hit with like art supply and pen organization. Pen organization, oh man. Not only do I want to buy the pens, but I want to buy all the things that they're organized in. Don't let me near the Container Store because goddamn if I won't have my mortgage money left. You look around my office, you can see all of my collections, all of my organizations, and there's just something about a neatly organized space that gives me a stiffy. I know I'm doing lots of sexual like overtones here, but I'm not joking. Like, if there is one thing that keeps my marriage alive, set me down with some how I organize my office supplies videos and my husband's having a good night tonight. Problem is, I could name, if I'm just looking over my shoulder here, I could probably name for you, for a lot of these items I'm looking at, the specific influencer, the specific person who made a craft supply video or an art studio video or an Instagram story or whatever the case may be, who was the one who set me on the path to buying that thing. And to be fair, a lot of the things I have, I really use, but at the same time, do I need them all? Do I need all of the liquid watercolors I have? Do I need the drawers upon drawers of pens that I have? I say it's because I review pens, but yeah, I do review pens, but I could also give them away when I'm done, but I can't let go of them because they're the precious. I actually watched a really interesting video by Lindsay the Frugal Crafter here on YouTube where she was talking about whether or not craft room tours are problematic, and I'll link that one in the description in case you are curious about it, because I thought it was actually a really interesting video about envy and keeping up with the Joneses and normalizing art supply hoarding. And I can do a total video on this myself later in the future. But for now, what I'm saying is, much like the hauls, the best way to not get over influenced by these things is to avoid them. But if you're like me and you need them to keep your marriage alive, find the aspects of them that you really, really, really enjoy and focus on those rather than the stuff that promotes purchasing. For example, I have focused now when I watch these kinds of videos on how everything is organized and not necessarily the specific items, like the specific containers that they use, but the actual methods that they use to compartmentalize and organize to see if I can recreate that with stuff I already have. And I treat it like a game. That kind of works. It's like Tetris, except with pens, and I'm cool with that. When you watch one of these videos, when you see people with stacks upon stacks upon stacks of sticker books or planners or pens or whatever, just because they have that doesn't mean you need that. Instead of looking at these things and thinking, God damn it, why don't I have all that stuff? Think, oh, that's cool how they have it organized. How can I take what they've done and adapt it to the stuff I already have so that I am more inclined to use it? Because that is the biggest tip I can give you more than anything else. When you think you're going to be wanting to buy more stuff because you want it so badly, think about the stuff you already have and then put it in places where you're going to see it so that you are likely to use it more often, because the more you use it, the less likely you are to go buy something new because you already are having that itch scratched by something you already own. There are many other ways we get influenced. There are many other things about consumerism in this community that I'm going to be talking about. And I have some spicy videos coming up soon, so make sure you subscribe so you can hear more about things I wish I hadn't bought or the things that I was very specifically influenced to buy and I've never used them. Those videos are coming up soon. Of these 5 kind of stops on the train, which one of them causes you to impulse buy the most? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, peace.